Hello guys and welcome to a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I hope that you're having a good day or a good morning or a good evening. This is I Play 4K, aka I Play 16K, www.iplay4k.com. And during this video guys today I'm going to show you Star Wars Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order, and I'm going to show it to you on a laptop that pretty much will be the test for any laptop that is equipped with GTX 1070 8GB version video card, Pascal GPU architecture, and the Core i7-7700HQ quad core 8 threads CPU. I'm running this today on the Asus GL702VS laptop. Let me real quick go ahead and show it to you. Show you my PC hardware specifications before I'm going to show you 4K resolution and 1080p. So keep in mind that GeForce 10 series Pascal GPU architecture GTX 1070 video card on the desktop, let me real quick go ahead and share it to you, has 1920 CUDA cores. Okay, has 120 TMU units, so it's slower the GTX 1070 mobile video card that I have today inside of this Asus GL702VS laptop. You will ask me why. Let me real quick go ahead and share it here. So GPU-Z will tell us that this GTX 1070 GP104M has 128 TMU units instead of 120 TMU units, and it has 2048 CUDA cores instead of 1920 CUDA cores. The higher, the better the FPS. Okay, everything else will be the same as GTX 1070 desktop video card. So pretty much this mobile GTX 1070 video card is a hair faster than GTX 1070 video card on a desktop. It's 8GB GDDR5. Everything else will be the same frequency on GDDR5 and same frequencies on the GPU versus the GTX 1070 desktop version. Okay, and let me real quick go ahead and show you my fan rotation in this laptop today is running 100%. This is going to be my CPU today. Stock frequency 2.8 gigahertz with the turbo boost. It's running 3.6 gigahertz as I saw 3650 megahertz in like 70% of the titles. Okay, and it's a quad core 8 threads. The motherboard, of course, and the laptop will be Asus GL702VS. I having today 12GB of the 2400 MHz DDR4. Better to have 16GB. I'm about to upgrade it, and keep in mind every single component in this laptop today will be running at stock frequencies. I didn't overclock my video card, GPU, or VRAM under the MSI Afterburner. Everything running stock today. Okay. Here's the GPU right here. It's also saying that this is GP104M, 8GB version, and 128 TMU units and 2048 CUDA cores. Okay, this is the real information. Let's go ahead and get going, guys. I'm coming in today in real time. English is not my first language, but I have a lot of experience and tips for you to share as a 3D artist, PC hardware enthusiast, PC overclocker during this video. And pretty much this video is not about the gameplay. This video will be today about the information, and you're going to find out if you can run Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on GTX 1070 desktop computer, GTX 1070 any laptops, or Titan X Maxwell GPU in the desktops, or GTX 980 Ti in the desktops, or GTX 980 kind of in the laptops will show you a little bit less performance. Okay, I would say 2 GTX 980 in SLI in the laptop, 2 GTX 980 in SLI in the laptop will show you the similar performance, maybe 2 FPS higher than you will see today. Okay, during my test, what I find out. So as you can see, the FPS will be unlocked to 144 Hertz or 144 FPS. VSync will be off to demonstrate you the maximum FPS. I will be running today different kind of presets. Okay, let me see. I'm going to start with the custom preset. Everything will be at epic. Anti-aliasing will be at medium. Everything else will be at epic. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and try that. This is beginning of the level. The game looks amazing, as you can see. We have a lot of hair right there. The hair effect texting a lot of that hair 3D mesh animated texting a lot of FPS and a lot of GPU performance, as well as we have the cloth material, which is also was a big deal back in 2009 2010, but it's also taxing a lot of GPU. As you can see, guys, we are at 23 FPS average. Let me just like that, so it's not playable. Okay, keep your eye at the left top. The system specs updated every second, self-explanatory. Let me real quick go ahead and bring it. Let's go ahead actually and start. Let me start with the epic preset completely. Epic preset completely, everything at the epic. Let's go ahead and have a look at the FPS. As you can see, epic completely, the FPS is 23 FPS, pretty much similar FPS as we had everything at epic, but anti-aliasing was at medium. Unfortunately, you cannot shut down the anti-aliasing in the November of 2019 for this game. Hopefully they're gonna fix it. If not, this is what it is. So 23, 24 FPS, right? I'm just trying to get the playable FPS, and then I'm going to start playing. Let's go ahead and switch to high. Everything will be at high. Let's go ahead and have a look, shall we? Increased by about 3-4 FPS, as you can see, but still unplayable. What if everything will be at medium? Medium, it's playable, guys. Here we go. 35 FPS. Let me real quick go ahead and play it a little bit like that, but at least it's playable. It's not comfortable for the console gamers, but for the PC enthusiasts that remember the time back in 2000, which 30 FPS was a big deal, it's going to be playable. 33 FPS. Not so comfortable, but I can play it without no issues. Keep that in mind. Keep your eye, guys. The GPU utilization right now is 98%, 99%, so we have excellent GPU utilization. My CPU utilization is also 53, 78, and sometimes even jumping to 97%, so keep that in mind. And this is the 8-thread CPU, which is the quad core. 8 threads, 8 virtual cores in Windows. That means that 6-core, 6-thread CPU will be struggling in this game, and this is the first game that I found that utilizing that high at 4K resolution on the quad-core 8-thread CPU. That means that there is a possibility that we're going to utilize 99-95% at the 6-core 6-thread CPU. Keep that in mind. And as again, this is the only first game that I found after testing 1,000 games on my PCs that utilizing CPU that high. There is a lot of CPU instructions going on during this Unreal game engine that powering this game, and it's using a lot of CPU. This is not even at 4K resolution, because at 4K resolution it's not supposed to use that much CPU, but look like for this particular game it does. But this is not going to be the future, guys. In the future, 6-core to go with i5 9600K or i5 10600K, and don't listen to those marketing reviewers that have 1 million, 2 million views on their YouTube channel. All what they're trying to do, they're trying to sell you the hardware for the games, PC games. 6-core 6-thread CPU running 5 GHz and above, more than enough, guys. Trust me, this is coming from the guy who was the first YouTuber that showed you 16K resolution gameplays on YouTube back in April, May of 2016. Just type 16K resolution or 16K gaming, and you will see I'm number one. So playable, this is playable, but hold on a second. Let's go ahead and see what we can do over here. Because we're playing at 4K resolution, I'm pretty sure I want to make sure the texture quality is not medium, because it's kind of going to be probably going to be look like almost like 1080p. Let's go ahead and switch it to epic, because we have a powerful Pascal GPU architecture, GTX 1070. It should give us any problems, and it shouldn't give us that much problems. As you can see, only 2 FPS down, 2 FPS down, but everything looks much better even. And it's stressing a little bit higher on our GPU, which is better, 99% constantly. You want to stress your GPU as high as possible, and you want to stress your CPU below 90%. But GPU, you want to stress above 90% to receive the maximum potential of your video card. And in the games, your video card is what is mattered the most. Comfortable. If we're going to shut down the anti-aliasing, and we cannot in the game menu, I'm pretty sure we're going to be about 40-45 FPS at the settings. Okay guys, if they would use the Frostbite engine, I'm pretty sure that they would be over here at 45-50 FPS average, but they decided to use Unreal game engine. This is big mistake for the game developers by the EA. I'm pretty sure they had the access to Frostbite game engine, the powering Battlefield 4, because the visuals will be the same from the Battlefield 4 game, Frostbite game engine. Alright guys, so right now what we're gonna do, I'm going to go ahead and show you the 1440. Okay. 1440. And then I'm going to show you 1080p, guys. 1440 full screen, but let me real quick go ahead and lower the system specs. It's a little bit, the font size is a little bit too big. Here we go. And I don't want to have 1440 by 1920. I want to have like this. Okay, 2560 by 1440. We're going to start with the same deal, guys. I'm going to go ahead and use the epic first, and then high and medium. At the epic, as you can see, we are above 40 FPS, so the gameplay will be almost comfortable. Only when you're rotating, as you can see that a little bit of the bluer. So they did a bad choice when they used the Unreal game engine. I would use the Frostbite, and even the CryEngine is not good enough, because this game I played about 45 minutes. This is my first hour, and the CryEngine having some issues when you have above 10 characters, high poly characters on the screen. The FPS is so low, and this game in about 40 minutes of gameplay will have about 20 high polygon 3D meshes or 3D characters. And look at that, this kind of spherish 3D objects, 3D meshes having a lot of polygons, guys, and the characters itself having a lot of polygons, especially the hair. So 40 FPS kind of comfortable for a lot of gamers, PC gamers that remember 30 FPS times back in 2000. So CryEngine is not good. The Unreal Engine, as you can see, is not good because it's using a lot of CPU. Right now it's 100% CPU. I saw 90% CPU in some cases, and this is the 8 threads. But as again, this is 1080p, guys. So for 1080p, it's okay, but for 4K, we also saw very high CPU usage is not okay. And this is only what I saw only in this game. The higher resolution, the lower CPU usage should be. But for this particular game, it's not the case. The game is nice. It's look like for all those console gamers game, kind of a lot of third view games under the console. So if you console player, you will have a lot of, and you're switching to PC, a lot of fun in this game, especially when you play in 4K resolution. But as we saw, GTX 1070 Pascal GPU architecture video card is not enough, and a lot of gamers, this is their average video cards on Steam. So pretty much the Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture will show you the same performance, equal performance. This video card, just because it has 2048 CUDA cores, will be even faster than Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture. The only limitation when Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture will shine will be the high resolution. When Titan X will utilize 12 GB of VRAM, but we don't have a performance to be able to do so. On the GTX 1070 or on the Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture, or a GTX 980 Ti will show you the same performance, guys, video card on the desktop. And as I told you, 2 GTX 980 in SLI, but the mobile versions that was a little bit cut down from the GTX 980 desktop version. So 2 GTX 980 in M version in SLI will show you also the same performance if the SLI is supported. Keep that in mind. Only if the SLI is supported. Alright, so 1440p. This is what we saw in Epic. Let me go ahead and switch. So it's above 40 FPS but below 50 FPS. Let's go ahead and have a look at high. Alright, we got the high. Let me go ahead and jump. A lot of things going on as third view person in this game, and you're going to have a lot of fun. It's not so hard to understand what you gotta do, and it's a lot of fun, guys, and great visuals, as you can see. So this game is definitely worth $20, I would say. Look at those. Even this character is so detailed. And a lot of cylinder objects, as you can see right over here. The cylinder, it has a lot of 3D polygons. It's a high topology object. Square is easy, but cylinder objects is, and a lot of cylinder objects. So they're pulling a lot of polygons in this game. So 50 FPS and a little bit above 50 FPS average. Keep in mind that I'm recording today with the shadow play. Look at this rain. A lot of post-processing effects. So above 50 FPS average, just because I'm recording with the shadow play, please add 3 FPS to the FPS counter to get my FPS without the shadow play recording. I'm not sure what this dude is doing. If this is his average day, it's kind of suck. Miserable. Risking his life almost every day. It's starting like this, guys, without any cinematics, but this game has a lot of cinematics based on the game engine, and you're going to have a beautiful 3D cinematics, guys, based on the game engine. You're going to enjoy. I'm not sure why they didn't start any cinematics at the beginning of this game, but this game is amazing. It's going to have a lot of cinematics, guys. You're going to have a lot of fun. Sometimes even 60 FPS, but I would say 50 FPS average at high. Look at the hair on the second character right there. It's a lot of pixel they're pushing, but it's looked like Battlefield 4, guys, running under the Frostbite engine, don't you think? I would say so. So let me real quick go ahead and switch the but the visuals is amazing, especially when you're playing at Epic at 4K. You're going to enjoy. But GTX 1070 video card is not enough. You need to have at least GTX 1080 Ti to run comfortably over 60 FPS, guys, at 4K resolution. This is a medium, guys. Look at this amount of details. Let me real quick. 1 second, guys, 1 second. Let me real quick. And I'm going to credit title screen, and we're kind of going to start it over real quick because I want to show you 1080p at kind of the same scene, so you will have the data to analyze. So start new journey. So it's going to be 1440p, guys, with medium. So at high it was above 50. At epic it was 45 FPS average at 1440p, right? 2560 by 1440 pixels. Let's go ahead and have a look at the 1440p at medium, and then because the cinematics kind of eating a lot of FPS and it's not fair to test at cinematics. During the gameplay your FPS will be a little bit higher, and I believe they're using the different scenes during the different 3D meshes, different 3D characters during the cinematic scenes and during the gameplays. I believe during the gameplay the character 3D mesh has less polygons than during the cinematics. So alright, let me enable. This is rendered with the game engine, as you can see, but just because it's 1440p, our GPU utilization below 80%, as you can see. When GPU utilization, guys, below 97%, I call it suck GPU utilization. So we're not utilizing the full potential of our GPU. And we're utilizing more of the CPU, the less of the resolution. So 1080p, I'm pretty sure we can struggle with 6-core, 6-thread CPU, because keep your eye right now. Right now we're below 85% utilization our quad-core 8-thread CPU. And at 1080p it's going to even go higher utilization on the CPU, and I think we could struggle with 6-core, 6-thread, and this is going to be the first game. Alright, so this is guys at 1440p, right? 1440p and at medium preset. As you can see, VSync is off, so we have the maximum FPS, and max FPS is possible through the game engine 144. So it's designed for 144 Hz monitors. Unfortunately, you cannot unlock that, so this is locked. This is the problem in Unreal game engine. It has some problems with the higher resolutions, such as 16K resolution during my tests, and it has some problems with the FPS caps. 60 FPS, guys. So at medium, everything at medium, you will have a great, as you can see, 60 FPS experience. Without the recording, for sure, 60 FPS experience. 92%, 92 Celsius on the CPU, guys, as you can see. So it's kind of hot because I'm running the laptop. So on thinner laptops with the GTX 1070 or RTX 2060, because RTX 2060 is also showing the same performance as GTX 1070, guys, keep that in mind. Only the RTX 2060 has the tensor cores, so it's good for the RTX API by NVIDIA RTX graphics render, but GTX 1070 using the CUDA cores to emulate the RTX, and it's very slow comparing to the tensor cores. But in terms of the performance, CUDA cores, RTX 2060 or GTX 1070, we're going to be almost the same. We're going to be pretty much 57, 60 FPS average. Sometimes, as you can see, it's dropping to 45, 49 for 1 second, but it's still comfortable. And I believe that we also can, what we can do, just because the GTX 1070 is very powerful video card on Pascal GPU architecture, we're pretty sure we can enable the textures all the way to epic without losing the FPS. Let's go ahead and have a look, shall we? Before we will switch to 1080p. At epic, guys, now it's a different game, as you can see, much more details. So pretty much a lot of hair effects, and this closed material is taxing a lot of FPS, guys, utilizing GPU and CPU at the same time. If they're going to remove that at medium, then your FPS will dramatically increase, guys. This is with the medium anti-aliasing, guys. We're good to go. As you can see, almost 60 FPS. The same thing with the textures at Epic and everything else at medium. Maybe we lost about 2-3 FPS, but this is how I would play it. Alright, so what we're gonna do now, I'm going to go ahead and switch to 1080p. And we're going to reload the level. We're going to do it, guys, at Epic everything, and then different presets. Okay, so let me real quick go ahead and create the title screen. Here we go. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button as support. A lot of time, money, energy was invested just to show you this, and I'm covering, as you can see, a lot of information for you. So pretty much during this gameplay, during this video, you learned how the RTX 2060 laptop will behave, how the GTX 1070 laptop will behave, and this is not the Max-Q laptop, guys. Keep that in mind. GTX 1070 Max-Q laptop will have less frequency on the GPU, and it will perform with 3-4 FPS lower performance. Keep that in mind, because the GTX 1070 Max-Q is slower video card, consume less energy and generate less heat, so it could be less heat on the laptop, but that CPUs that are going to have the GTX 1070 Max-Q will probably be i7 7th generation or i7 8th generation, and it's still going to be that hot. So, and this laptop is not thick. This laptop is, it's not thin. This laptop is thick, and it has the fan rotation at 100% right now at above 5900 RPM. So with the thinner laptops, guys, you're going to thermal throttle a lot on the CPU, I'm pretty sure, and your temperature is probably going to reach 100 Celsius. With the thicker laptops, MSI Dominators, you're probably going to be less on the CPU temperature. But no matter what, any laptops that is equipped with the GTX video cards or RTX video cards, guys, you like mid-range video cards, RTX or GTX, or high-end RTX or GTX video cards, you must repaste the thermal compound. And this laptop today is running at stock completely with the stock thermal compound, with the cheap Asus thermal compound paste, and I'm going to replace it with a liquid metal. Hopefully I'm going to create, look at this beautiful hair technology. I believe in close scenes, guys, they're using different 3D models, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Much detailed with the higher polygon meshes of 3D models. Yeah, it's running comfortably, guys. 60 FPS, above 60 FPS comfortably, and this is with everything Epic. Even the anti-aliasing is Epic. This is how you want to do it if you want to utilize your GPU completely at as high as possible. But the Pascal and Turing GPU architecture at 1080p is not utilizing completely, as you can see. So we're losing a lot of raw power of the GPU. But it doesn't consume so much energy as it's supposed to. So you're winning on the energy side, but you're losing on the performance side. Right now, 70%, come on, 70% of GPU utilization, 66, 72, 65. This is like GTX 980 over here on the desktop right now as a performance. So GTX 980 in the desktop, guys, will be good enough for this game to play 1080p. But in a laptop, GTX 980 not good enough, because that version is cut down by a lot and doesn't look like a desktop version. Not like this. GTX 1070M is faster than GTX 1070 in a laptop. It will be much slower than GTX 980 on a desktop. Keep that in mind. So yes, and hopefully I'm going to create a video tutorial of when I'm going to repaste the thermal compound, and I'm going to use the liquid metal by Thermal Grizzly, and approximately I'm looking 7-10 Celsius lower on my CPU and on GPU, and the FPS based on that will increase, because the CPU is not going to thermal throttle itself, so it's going to breathe and run itself at 3.6 gigahertz or 3650 megahertz, as I saw it in different games when the CPU temperature is so low, like around 70 or 80, and this will give us additional 3 FPS to the FPS counter. Keep that in mind. Or without the recording and with the thermal paste, probably 5 FPS additionally, because when we're going to replace the thermal compound, we can also overclock my GPU and VRAM and receive additional 2 FPS. And CPU is not overclockable because this CPU is HQ version, which has the lock multipliers. The 7700 HQ in this laptop. 7700 HK was overclockable, but HQ was not. Keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and that's enjoyable experience. If we would stress our GPU at 97% and above, I'm pretty sure the FPS would be 100 FPS average, but this is not the case in this game engine, which is the Unreal game engine, unfortunately, and not in case for sure for this game. Maybe it's not the fault of the Unreal game engine, but for sure in this game, powered by this Unreal game engine. Everything at high, guys. We should increase on FPS, but we should decrease on the GPU usage. And as you can see, we decrease on the GPU usage. We're right now 53% on GPU usage. This is like utilizing only half of our GPU. That's why our FPS, no matter what, it's still low. So when you're running 1080p with the Pascal GPU architecture top middle end, or Turing GPU architecture top middle end, you want to make sure that that 1080p maxed out on visuals completely to be able to utilize your GPU at the highest possible potentials. Otherwise, it's just going to utilize a lot of CPU, because 1080p, since Pascal GPU architecture is not considered as a high resolution, it's considered as a low resolution that CPU can, by Windows 10 and Microsoft and NVIDIA drivers, that CPU can handle a lot of the stress at 1080p. Keep that in mind, and this is what it does. It's reloading a lot of stress on CPU and executing on CPU instead of GPU. Wow, above 70 FPS, that's good. That's good. We're good over here. Pretty much 70 FPS average at high, guys. That's the great result, 1080p. And utilizing just a little bit of the GPU. So you're not gonna, if you're playing this on a battery, you're not gonna stress a lot your battery. Keep that in mind. Okay, what's going on here? I'm gonna jump there. So pretty much 65-70 FPS average. Let me real quick go ahead, guys, and use the last one, which will be the medium. Medium, and maybe we can use the textures at epic in the end. I'm pretty sure we could use the medium, I mean the high settings with the epic textures as well. I got it. Yeah, look at this, medium, way above 70 FPS average. So we're good to go over here for sure. Oh my god, I did a mistake. And again, mistake. Playing this on the keyboard, and my phone ring, and I look at it, and sorry about that, guys. Okay, this game is amazing. A lot of console players, gamers will love this game. Because you guys, on your console, you have a lot of consoles, you get a lot of third view games over there. Okay, we got it. Look at this. This is at the medium. Even I saw the 80 FPS. Easy. Let me real quick go ahead and restart it for the last time, and I'm going to apply real quick the medium with the textures in Epic, and we're going to wrap it up, guys, with this. Keep in mind, guys, in the end of this video, I'm going to put great videos for you to check out on this Asus GL702VS laptop, including some other great videos. I recorded great videos on two RTX 2080 Ti video cards in SLI. I recorded not enough space. Why? Please reboot the game. Yeah, let's override it. And I recorded also video on 2 Titan RTXs in SLI, 4 Titan X Maxwells in SLI, 2 Titan XPs, 2 GTX 1080 Ti. It's just great videos over the iPlay4k.com YouTube channel. Go ahead and check it out. And in the end of this video, I'm going to put a few of the cool videos for you to check out, guys. So guys, this is the 1080p at medium preset. The reason why I started from the beginning of the level, so we can compare the FPS kind of in similar scenarios. As you can see, I would say from 75 to 85, sometimes to 65 average, but way above 60 FPS average at 1080p at medium. And unfortunately, with below 50% right now GPU utilization, even if this scene is not pre-rendered scene, even if this scene is using the game engine and rendered in real time. Very upsetting. But this is the case, guys. So you don't want to buy the high-end video cards in the future, even the Turing GPU architecture, or the future after the Turing GPU architecture, if you play in 1080p. It's just going to be a waste of money, and nobody cares if you have 240 Hz 1080p monitor. Your GPU is not going to be stressed to give you that 240 FPS at 1080p. It's just not going to have that potential, and I believe this is due to NVIDIA drivers and probably Windows 10 operating system. It's just deciding that this video card is very powerful enough for this game at 1080p, and it's trying to consume some energy. Just because NVIDIA is a California company, it could be a possibility. Even look at this, even at medium, it's still looking great, guys. Even at medium, it's just the details are still here, and keep in mind that it's medium the anti-aliasing. Look at how low our GPU utilization. This is why. And the CPU utilization is increased a little bit higher. You have more stress on CPU than GPU. Yeah, very, very upsetting factor over here. But still 60 FPS average, and even sometimes above. Sometimes, as you saw, a little bit below, especially when the 3D scenes, and just because I believe, as again, it's using a lot of 3D meshes with the higher topology during the kinda cinematic scenes. 71 over here, guys. Let's go ahead and switch the textures to Epic. I'm pretty sure the FPS is not going to drop. FPS will be the same. Maybe even the FPS will increase in our case, but the GPU utilization will go higher in percentage. This is exactly what we want. So we want to utilize the potential of our Pascal GPU architecture, in our case of our GTX 1070 video card. We want to utilize all of those 2048 CUDA cores. We just don't want to utilize just 1050 CUDA cores. When we're utilizing 50%, this is exactly what happens, and we don't want to do that. I already got so comfortable in this game, guys. 5 minutes before recording and with you. Alright, so that 48 FPS is just because the CPU pretty much take over the GPU, and GPU is not utilizing that well, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do also the anti-aliasing. Let's go ahead and textures. We want to have epic. We want to have maximum visuals. And then, as you can see, sometimes you're probably gonna see it in the video. I can see that some edges needs to be anti-aliased because I'm playing on a gigantic 8K resolution screen, guys. And 1080p, I can see those. When you have the screen above 75 inch, guys, 1080p is kind of looking so pixelated. It's looking like 800 by 600 sometimes. So, especially when it's using without the anti-aliasing presets at the 1080p resolution. So as you can see, same FPS. Even we didn't even stress the GPU at all. Kinda same low GPU utilization. So what I can do, I can increase the anti-aliasing and still have the same FPS, probably. Let's go ahead and do it. In Epic, I think this is going to be the best scenario. Above 60 FPS immediately. Look at this. We increase on the FPS. We receive higher. We increase on anti-aliasing, which should show us lower FPS, but FPS is increased because now we're utilizing more of the GPU, and sometimes I just saw 60% instead of below 50%. Makes sense. So this is probably the case for the highest possible FPS. If you have 1080p screen, this is probably how you want to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be waste of your GPU. If you purchase that high-end GPU, and GTX 1070 is still high-end GPU. It was this laptop was for sale in the beginning of 2017, but unfortunately, even with the anti-aliasing at Epic and textures at Epic, you don't want to run at medium because we're receiving higher FPS at everything at Epic. Let me real quick demonstrate it to you, and I'm going to wrap it up. So this is how you want to do it. Everything at Epic when you're running 1080p. So you're going to get the maximum stress for your GPU. Here we go. Above 60% on the GPU load. Still 45, still the same FPS as we had. Even 50 right now. 69, 70%. 50, 60 FPS, as you can see, but everything is epic. Everything is so detailed. Maximum possible visuals at 1080p resolution. So hopefully, guys, this video go ahead and smash that like button in the end of this video. I'm putting some great videos for you right now to check out. A lot of time, money, energy was invested. Support me with your like, subscribe, hit that bell, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next cool videos. iPlay4k.com. Till the next time. Peace!